Hi, it's Lee from ColouringQueen.net, and I've got the latest Colouring Heaven magazine, which is the Woodland Fairies special. I was particularly excited about this issue because it's got one of my favourite artists as their featured artist, which is Karron, who is a Canadian artist. You might know her for her beautiful fairies books, but also she's the mummy or the creator of my favourite rabbit, which is Benny Blue. So if you haven't seen Benny Blue, you can search on my YouTube channel for the videos for both of Benny Blue's books. But Christine creates amazingly beautiful fairies, and she colours them in actually, and they are stunning. I hope one day that she'll do a tutorial book and show us all how she does it. But she does have a YouTube channel where you can pick up a lot of tips on her colouring too, by the way. So the Colouring Heaven magazine is in the same format as normal. It's roughly A4 sized. On the front cover it features gold foiling, and on the inside cover it always features this colour combination chart where you can list out your favourite colour blends. It always has a little bit about the featured artist over here and their social media contacts. And then the magazine is printed on single pages, which is white smooth paper. And it's a medium quality, but it's on the lighter end. So the first image was, I think it's Fairy Dance. In this one, there's actually 10 exclusive images for Colouring Heaven. So these are images that Christine hasn't published in either of her two fairy books that are currently on the market. And this one, again, the fairy with the birds, is exclusive to Colouring Heaven. So maybe one day we'll see that in a fairies book, you never know. And this is Fairy Sleep, another exclusive illustration, which is gorgeous. These look very hand-drawn and very textural compared to the refinement of her line art in her fairies colouring books, which are released in line art and Greyscale. This is Fawn Fairy, which is another exclusive, and again the wings etc. look like they're actually hand drawn in pencil, as well as this background foliage. And we've got the Lilac Fairy, again exclusive to Colouring Heaven. I don't know how Colouring Heaven managed to get the most amazing artists. Every month, like month after month, they've always got someone absolutely fantastic that just makes it worthwhile buying the whole magazine. And another exclusive, the Old Tree Fairy. So she's wrapped up in her old tree, and she's got a very wispy little outfit there. And then we've got the Wise Fairy. She's holding some secrets, but she won't tell us what they're secrets of. So she's really keeping it a secret. And again, this has a real pencil drawn feel to it. And then the Toadstool Fairy, another exclusive for Colouring Heaven. And look at these plants in the background, they're gorgeous. And now we've got Bluebell Fairy, and we would have seen this in one of Christine's previous published books on fairies, and it's a Greyscale one. And I love her Greyscale artwork, it's just gorgeous. Now there's the Cherry Fairy, and this one is absolutely beautiful when you see it coloured. If you want inspiration, you can just hop onto Instagram and search for Christine's name, and you'll see a lot of coloured images for these pictures that amazing colourists have created. And the Cornflower Fairy. Funnily enough, I've sown a pile of cornflowers myself. Some of them are black, they're called black ball cornflowers. So I might wait for those to come out so I can be inspired. Then we've got the Cranberry Fairy, which features these two beautiful birds. And look at the way Christine does hair. When she does Greyscale, it's just so done for you. I think out of all the Greyscale artists, I think she's probably got to be one of the best, meaning that it's so easy to colour her work and know where to shade. Some Greyscale is really quite dark and it's very hard to colour it and get the effect that you want. And this is from her Fairies book as well. When you see this coloured, and it features on one of the covers for memory, it's just stunning. And this one, the Forest Spirits, which has the white around here that gives her that real glow. And the Full Moon Fairy. And then we've got this Hazelnut Fairy with our cute little squirrel. Our Ivy Fairy. And look at those beautiful hands. And now we've got the line art. So we've got the Birdsong Fairy. Some people don't like Greyscale, some people don't like line art. So they've covered it here by producing both of them. So we've got the Blueberry Fairy. The Colour Lily Fairy. The Daisy Fairy. And even though this is line art, there's a lot of texture here on the hair. We've got our Dandelion Fairy. Our Dragonfly Fairy. Look at the way the hair is done. It's just gorgeous, and how black the dragonfly is compared to how soft the hair is. Now, Colouring Heaven have these magazines available. In the UK, they're super easy to get. You can just basically go to any of the major supermarkets and get it when it's first released. In the US, you can get it from some Barnes & Noble. From what I understand, not every Barnes & Noble has them. In Australia, you can get them from Big W, but bear in mind it does take a while to get to Australia. They have to be shipped over, then they've got to go to distribution centres, and then they're finally released. You can get them sometimes from some newsagents, but they're pretty hard to find in Australia. Big W is usually the easiest place if there's one near you. And now we're back to the Greyscale. And as I always say, and I feel like a broken record, I really think it's easier just to get it from the publisher direct. And Anthem are the publishers, and they were kind enough to send this to me. We've got our Northern Lights Fairy. And isn't it good that there's males represented in this fairy book? So you can either buy it individually, so when it's first released, if you follow Colouring Heaven on Facebook, they'll tell you who their next issue features. And if it's someone that you fancy or someone that you want to get to know, or an artist that perhaps sometimes you can't afford to buy the original book, but the magazine is so much less that it's worthwhile buying the magazine, then once they release that information on who's being featured, you can either buy just that issue and they will send it to you. And they've got shipping times on their website that will tell you roughly how long it will take to get to you. Obviously, because it's published in the UK, it will be quicker to get to you in the UK than it will be to other countries like the US, Canada and Australia. Isn't this Rosehip Fairy gorgeous? Or if you don't want to wait around and you're quite happy to have every issue that Colouring Heaven produce, then you can just sign up for their subscription and they'll just post it out to you every issue, not the annual issues that they do though. And you don't have to wait around and you don't have to order it individually. So you can just choose which one suits you best, or suits your budget the best, or suits your colouring tastes the best. And there's always some form of bonus here at the end. For UK residents, it's sometimes pencils, but for the rest of the world, it's usually a special offer. So this one you can get 2 years or 26 issues for a special price. So for Australia, that's $168.90. And there's a special code that you can enter into, which is a 50% off the store price. And this cover, front and back, you can colour that in as well. It's a nice card cover. So if you fancied it, you could colour that one in as well. We've got the Woodland Fairies special featuring 40 beautiful fairies by Christine Karron, including 10 that aren't featured anywhere else, that are exclusive to Colouring Heaven. So that's it for me. Until next time, happy colouring.